Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to today's video for a message to ease our minds. So this is a prayer to the Great Spirit. Please give us a message to ease our minds, to help us function optimally under stress, anxiety, worry, or any other similar condition, to put us at ease so we can do the things that we need to get done just for today. So I'm going to lay out the piles for you to select from, and they will be here in a moment. Okay, so we have 4 piles to select from. For group 1, we have the snow quartz and no with an exclamation mark. Group 2 is this amazonite and the number 15 and the rose quartz. Group 3, black tourmaline and doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. And lastly, for group 4, we have the selenite wand, the number 28 and intuition. So go ahead and select your piles using your intuition, and the timestamps will be posted in the comments and down below so you can skip over to your section. Hi group 1, and those of you who chose this snow quartz and no with a big exclamation mark. This is your reading, and this is a message to ease your minds. So where shall I start here? So first of all, there's a big no right here, and there's the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is, a card of feeling stuck. I will say feeling overwhelmed as well, because even with the snow quartz, it's really good for when you feel overwhelmed and drained by that. And with this third house here too, I'm getting Mercury and Mercury retrograde. It's making me think of that. And things just not going right, things kind of going backwards, or not how we anticipated, or not working out the way that we want, with people or situations, or just anything altogether. So, as I was laying out these cards, it really reminded me of, I guess I'll share it, this Alive card. So this deck I got in the summer last year, and I remember, my father passed away last year, and this was the first card that I pulled out right after, and it says, "Alive, may you delight in the vitality." And I remember that day there was this event that I was supposed to go to. It was a Yoga Under the Stars event, and I was just debating, and I was thinking, like, should I go? Am I supposed to? Like, I didn't really know what to, and I ended up getting this card and just this message of, well, you're still alive, and it's okay for me to go. And I remember going and just lying on my mat. I didn't even practice. I just lied under the stars, and it was a full moon, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's reminding me of the stillness card, where I just found sort of stillness. And sometimes there's this desire, I think, to think a lot and to talk a lot when things are not going our way, and or we're feeling overwhelmed. But this message is really encouraging you to find stillness. Because even here, like, look, we have the third house, we have the number 3, and then we have 30. And so I'm seeing it sort of like as a progression, right? So the third house is about communication, and it's like I'm just seeing a flat no, overthinking. Like, sometimes talking too much is, or talking about our problems, talking about our issues, doesn't necessarily help, right? It can sometimes just create more overthinking and a feeling of being stuck. And there's nothing wrong with communicating how we feel, but with this message, I'm really getting about, may you delight in the vitality, that you're still alive. Last quarter moon in Sagittarius, practice gratitude. Be grateful for the things that are around you. And when I say grateful for the thing, it's just being grateful and being alive. May you delight in the vitality. And when I think of vitality, I'm thinking more of our senses, like lying outside under the stars, under the full moon, and just feeling the sensation of just the air and the breeze, on a summer night, that sort of thing. And just saying no to anything that makes us feel overwhelmed or stuck, or pursuing stuff, or opening ourselves up to focusing on what's sort of in front of us, what we can do, calming the waters, peaceful self-regulation. And I guess this is a message too of just sort of taking time to enjoy. I don't want to say enjoy. It's just like finding peace, finding stillness, finding calm, serenity, taking time out to do that, when we're overwhelmed, when we're feeling stuck, when we're overthinking, when we don't know what to do with ourselves. It's sort of like, well, then don't do anything. And here we have the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands as well. And like they're both in reverse. And like to me, these are people. It's sort of like sometimes people can make us feel stuck or like prevent us. Like this is really just about not needing to talk as much. This is the message that I'm getting. When you're feeling overwhelmed and drained, it's like really take time out to just be alone. I'm just getting a very alone feeling with this. And I feel like I'm not really describing this properly, but hopefully this is resonating with someone out there. Because I feel like there's not much to say. And what's interesting is as I was laying out these cards, there's this practice gratitude card, and I kept trying to pick up. There's actually 2 cards here, and they were stuck together. Last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. And that sums it up. It's about not needing to talk, or saying no, because talking is thinking. Swords is about communication. It's the mental aspect, the 3rd house, Mercury. It's all about communication. And this is more about listening, this is more about listening. So you can listen to the stillness, and sort of find peace in that, and that will help you regulate yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, like, we are alive, and there are a lot of things that we can be grateful for. I mean, just even things like sitting under the tree and making time for those things, because we want to go through our lives in a peaceful sort of way. And I know that sometimes things are hectic and things are difficult and things go wrong, but there's always solutions to that. And sometimes it just takes time for us to step away from it, because it takes time to resolve issues too, or it takes time to heal. It takes time to, so it's sort of like you might as well sort of take time to feel at peace. And I think it's just a big no. Just say no. I'm going to cover this talk less, feel more with gratitude. Because you don't need to make a list of gratitude or talk about your gratitude or think about it. You need to just simply sit and experience it. Experience gratitude, for what's around you. For your sensations. I'm just getting like a meditation. So that's the message. To ease your mind is that you can calm yourself, you can regulate yourself, you are alive. There are so many things for you to appreciate in your natural surroundings, and when find the stillness, you will, and you make time for it, you will get to experience it. And then there's messages, I get this Sagittarius, like this bow and arrow right here. I feel like there's messages that will come through to you when you are in that state as well. Because again, this is really reminding me of that little story I said about yoga under the stars when my father passed away. And I felt, I was like, am I wrong to still go to yoga? And that was just me overthinking it, because I felt like he was saying you should go, and he's like, you're still alive, be grateful for it. He's like, I'm the one that's dead, not you, so go, at those times, there's a lot of people that want to reach out to you and talk to you and give their condolences and talk about stuff. And, sometimes it's just, you can regulate yourself and find peace within yourself without the need of other people, because I'm seeing these other people as these fire signs, and what you're needing is more water, more peace, more vitality, like a cleansing sort of feeling. So that's your reading for when you feel overwhelmed. In particular, is say no to people, say no to whatever is going wrong, situations, communication, whatever the case is, and just take time to just calm the water that's within yourself, right? Because now I'm thinking about us being made of water. So it's like calming the waters within your own body, and just finding stillness. And anyway, so there's not much more for me to say on this reading. I feel like I didn't talk too much in it, but that's the message. It's I actually feel very peaceful. I was extremely overwhelmed this morning, and so that was part of the inspiration for doing this reading for you guys. So I hope it was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to see more videos. Take care. Bye. All right, group 2, those of you who picked the Amazonite and this 15 rose quartz, this message is for you to ease your minds. So I'm already loving this message. So here with this 6 of Swords, the end of challenging times, things are looking up, a welcome relief, finding your way to a peaceful place, the end of depression or an illness, travel or relocation. This is really about moving out of hard times, right? And with assistance. I'm really focused in on this guy here that's the one paddling for them. And so one thing I'm going to say is, one thing that I noticed right off the bat is you have seed of the heart, okay? And this rose quartz, which is the heart. It's shaped like a heart. And, the rose quartz is about love. And, when I'm thinking of you guys and not everybody. Well, we're talking about you guys, so we'll just stick to that. I just have this strong feeling that there is this seed in your heart that is growing and growing and growing. And right under the seed of the heart, it's in reverse, right? Because it hasn't fully bloomed. It hasn't fully manifested. It's like there's a seed within you and the sun is right above it. Look at that, shining its light, on this seed. But right now it's still a seed. I mean, this is in reverse, right? And so it hasn't grown, it hasn't blossomed. Just picture this seed in the ground. Look at this. There's this seed of the heart. It's in your heart. It's in the ground. And then here, the light is shining on it, and it's going to start to grow as you're moving through this process of whatever you're going through. And here we have energetic clearing. During crisis, the Holy One herself may be emptying you of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive her luminous plan. And so this difficulty, this turmoil, whatever's going on, it serves a purpose, right? And it's clearing the space for whatever seed that has been planted in your heart to grow. Because I'm getting that you have a very powerful heart, a very strong heart. There's like, our heart is like, all humans, like it's one of the most, what's it called? Like I don't know the science of it. But it's like, has a very strong electromagnetic frequency or whatever it's called around it. It's very powerful. And so in order for this seed to grow, stuff has to be cleared out. And here we have the Six of Cups, which has to do with the past. It could do with family. It could do with things of people. Because you're right beside intimacy, maybe people that you're familiar with. Maybe you're being tested in your close personal relationships, or you were tested in your past. And the reason why I keep saying tested is because of this kangaroo. You are being tested. Have faith and stand in your truth, courage. And same with this kangaroo. It's bringing me back to this seed that is growing, this light that is shining on you. But it's like, and now I'm getting this feeling of like, when you see like a flower that's growing through the concrete, so that concrete is an obstacle, right? But it still grows, right? The flower still grows through the concrete, through the cracks. But in your case, I'm seeing that like there's a clearing, there's a path that's clearing for you, for the seed to develop and grow further and further in your heart. And it's like, it could be your heart's desire. It could be what God or the Spirit has intended for you. It could be, it's just your heart's desire, whatever the case is. And I feel like it's going to bring you closer, whether it's to the Spirit, whether it's to, there's just like this intimacy, this feeling of closeness that's going to emerge from this. Or this feeling of maybe love, and maybe rebirth, because here I'm seeing a lot of skulls, and things having to die. And oh my God, okay, so now I'm getting the seasons, right? It's like certain things have to die off, or like, in the winter things die off. And it's like now there's this rebirth, or this spring, it's like the winter with this clearing, or maybe the fall. Let's call this the fall. The energetic clearing is like the fall. The leaves falling off, things like that. Intimacy is where, you connect to the Spirit and through your heart. And the seed it's like sort of germinating, like the soil, in the wintertime, like the soil is doing its thing. Like, okay, let me give the example of gardening, right? Because I wanted to start a garden last spring. And, come to find out, I should have started it in the winter, all the compost, all the stuff, and just pack it in. So in the winter, it breaks down, it like cultivates the soil, it does its thing with the nutrients and breaking down. And then the seed is planted in the spring. And then in the summer, the sun shines on it and it grows. So I'm seeing this as a cycle. And this is what's happening with you. It's like a falling away of the past, or of a familiarity. It's almost like moving away from the past, whether it was a challenging past or things that you were familiar with. And then here, horse, free spirit, give yourself the space and freedom to express yourself creatively. And here we have more crystals that are pink, right? So I'm drawing it into this rose quartz. And so I'm seeing that, this is in reverse. So at some point this is going to be, and when it being in reverse, I'm taking it as something that hasn't come to manifest yet. It's something that's still hidden. It's something that's still beneath the surface, like the seed. And this is something you're not expecting to blossom. We have the Three of Wands, and it's in reverse. This is, in reverse, it's like something that it's like you've been waiting for it, but you didn't know that you've been waiting for it. Like that when you receive it, you're going to be like, wow, have you ever had that? Where you're like, I didn't know I was missing this. Like you're missing something, but you can't even articulate what you're missing. But then when you receive something, you're like, wow, like I didn't even know I was missing this whole time. And so that's what's going to come in the summertime. And when I say summertime, I'm using it as a metaphor. I mean, this is the manifestation. And there's light shining on you. and on the past. But one thing I'll say is that, because I was drawn to give this example about the seasons, things take time, on the earth to, there's cycles that take place. And so you are in this cycle, and you are, I feel like, in this spot where there's a seed within you that's been planted in you, and there's stuff that has to clear out of the way in order for it to truly blossom, in order for you to be like this wild horse in this. And with horses, I'm also thinking of healers, because horses are healers, and they're very sensitive, and I know they pick up on like the emotions of those around them. And so maybe there's some preparation work that's happening for you with your heart. And it's going to materialize, it's going to crystallize, and it's going to grow. And it's in the works, it's in the works. It's in the works for you. So it's actually it's really exciting. But I don't feel excited. I feel at peace with this reading. You're being assisted and you're being helped. But unfortunately, it's just the seasons are the seasons. And, you have to go through the winter in order to get to the spring. And, keep cycling just like that repeatedly. And so that is your reason. I was going to say reading, but I said that is your reason. So I guess that's the reason why you're going through this. If you're, maybe some of you out there are like, why am I going through this? What's going on? Why was the past the way that it was? Why was my family or my relationships or my close personal relationships the way they were? And here you're being tested. Have faith and stand in your truth. So this is really a matter of faith, a matter of courage, and I would say a matter of patience, because and something is going. Are those dolphins? I don't know. I feel like those are dolphins in the back. So it does have to probably do with people, maybe, for some of you all, because dolphins always, they're community people. Maybe you're within a community that you feel you're moving away from, or things are just being cleared. So this message hopefully was able to help calm you in some sort of way. And I hope it brought you some ease and some comfort. If you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe to see my many videos that I'm planning to post every day, of whatever, I'm inspired to post about. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome, Group 3. Those of you who picked this Black Tourmaline. In doubt, I release the need to know all the answers. Here is a message to help ease your minds, to help you function better under stress, anxiety, worry, or anything such as that. So, I'm going to say that you are maturing. I'm seeing this number 40. I'll tell you what this reading is about, but let me just start here. The number 40 to me is, very significant spiritually. And I'm talking about, when we talk about Moses, right? Here we have, the age of maturity. I think Moses was 40. There's, it's just the number 40, the age of 40, is very out there as the age of maturity, spiritually, or being fully grown. And so I'm tying this in, and, this reference to, I made a reference to Moses here because, even in the Jewish religion, here you have Lilith, face your shadow, right? And if, some of you guys may know, but Lilith was said to be the first woman, I guess in the Jewish tradition. And she was, considered not so great, or maybe she was misunderstood, or wherever the case was, because she did not want to submit herself. She was, just like the dark feminine in that way, where, when we think about things that are going against the grain, that go against societal norms, go against, because I'm getting this feeling of like, there's a part of you that wants to step into the fullness of who you are. Here we have integration in reverse, right? And so, I'm getting this, that you're stepping into this place where you're being called to face your fears, face your shadows, face the things that have been restraining you, holding you back, making you feel ashamed, and integrate those parts into you and to sort of accept it, like, it's just like we have very strong feminine, we have goddess, we have Lilith, we have, I don't know how to say this, Oya, storms, just powerful feminine energies here. And so I get this feeling that you're going through these storms because your shadow is coming up. The shadow is part of you, and maybe you're wanting to suppress it, not wanting, because I'm getting that feeling of feeling very unbalanced with this Two of Pentacles. But, this message is about sort of letting whatever comes up. This is part of who you are. Here you see the chakras sort of, going up like that. And, she's still connected. That is part of you. The darker side of you, the parts of you that you want to keep hidden, the parts of you that you don't want to talk about, the parts of you that you want to conceal from others out of feelings of shame, the parts of you that thinks it's not okay to be this way or to say these things or to stand up for yourself or to decide that, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sort of be my own person and make the decisions that I want. And right now I'm thinking of this example of being in, because here, we brought up like the religion, right? Because I brought up Moses, and how religion will say that you have to sort of follow a particular path, and anything outside of that is not okay. Most religions are like that, in my opinion. And they would probably say the same as well. And so it's like very restricting. And if you do this, you're bad. If you do this, you should be ashamed. You're guilty. You shouldn't be. Like, all of these things, I feel like for you guys, you're in a place where you may be doubting, like even things like sexuality. I don't know why I said that. I'm not saying you're doubting your sex. That just came out. I mean, oh my God. Maybe some of you guys are wanting to experiment sexually. Playfulness. I feel adventurous. Change me, divine beloved, into the one who is widely open to the new. Free me from the rigid patterns that no longer serve me. Let me feel adventurous and spontaneous, knowing that the more I open to life, the more it opens to me. And you can see that with her chakras going up. And I'm feeling that going up, right? And then you have the snake wanting to get to that top part. And I feel like as it goes up, it's whatever you connect to. How it's said right here, knowing that the more I open to life, it opens up to me. I feel like the more that you're tapped in, because the more that you integrate your shadow, these other aspects of you that you've been, I don't want to say conditioned or maybe taught or whatever the case may be, to suppress, to hide, that it's not okay. It's like stepping into your goddess energy. And there's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of fear sometimes when it comes to doing that. We don't want to go against the grain. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to be ostracized, really, to be rejected, to be, what's the word called when you're like banished from a certain group or a certain community based on the fact that you're doing, an example is, here I'm doing tarot readings, right? In many religions, this is considered something that I should not be doing. We should not be, here we have the high priestess too, high priestess. This is this mysterious dark energy And when I say dark, I'm not talking about dark as in bad. I'm saying the mystery, the darkness, the unknown. And this is where you have to release the need to know the answers. You don't know what's going to come up of integrating these parts of you. I know that when I first started reading tarot, and I'll say this as an example, I was very much led to it. But I grew up in a religion and in a background where, you're not supposed to be doing this sort of thing. But I followed it, and there was many things I had to cut off, and people and situations or expectations that people had of me, that I had to be fulfilling this role in my family for them because I'm a woman or because of this or whatever. And it reached a point where I was like, it doesn't feel good. I'm not doing that anymore. But it took a lot of courage. I didn't know how that was going to turn out. But ultimately, there's this message here that more is going to be revealed to you. When you integrate, there's storms that you're going to have to go through. But ultimately, here we have this King of Pentacles, where it's like, to me, it's like this final resting place. Because the number 40 and the King of Pentacles is somebody who is very mature on this earth. And when I say this earth, I mean very stable, very grounded, Taurus, very rooted, consistent, like has these attributes of maturity. And that's what I'm getting with this number 40. And I'm getting it from a spiritual perspective, but also an earthly perspective. It's like a spiritual being on this earth. The number 40, I'm thinking Moses, I'm sure this is whatever. I'm just going to say it. Like, I feel hesitant to say it. And this is tying into what we're talking about, of sometimes holding back the things that we want to say. But I feel like Moses, had his bad side too. I've read stories about how he'd get angry, or, it's so different, like some of the different stories that I hear from different religions and the portrayals that they have of some of these prophets or these messengers or these figures, and how they went against the grain in that time. Today we accept them. Today we look to them. But at that time they were going against the grain. Jesus went against the grain. He went through his storms, but he had to integrate who he was on a deep level in order and move past the doubt. And doubt just comes from not knowing answers, not being sure. Because it's like there's that aspect of us that wants to fit in, that wants to just go with the flow. It's easier to swim with the tide than go against the current. But eventually, when this integration takes place, it takes time. There's like this, again, we're talking about Moses, but Moses was in the desert. Look at how here we're talking about water, reflection, kindness, compassion. I just feel like this is going to build you in some sort of way that is going to put you in flow with who you are and in flow with the universe, really. And that's what I was talking about with the chakras, because when I think of, connecting, I think of like starting at the root chakra, moving all the way up, and all those chakras being clear in order for you to really connect to your crown chakra and download information. And then on the way back down, it's the path to manifesting. And that's the clear path, like to sort of like manifest what God wants you in this earthly realm, to be like who you are. And you're obviously a very powerful being. There's a lot of feminine energy. And it's just like, I feel like you're being cleared, your chakra system's being cleared. But part of that comes with integrating all aspects of who you are, and going against the grain and societal shit that we have to deal with. It's definitely not easy. But yeah, integration. That's the symbol right there. If you like this reading, please give me a like. Subscribe to see more videos like this. I'll be trying to post every day on just whatever comes up, So yeah, leave a message, or not a message, a comment, if you would like to let me know how this resonated with you. I would appreciate hearing some feedback, just to know that, my messages are making sense to somebody out there. All right. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye. Okay. Hi, group 4. Those of you who picked the Selenite wand, this is your reading. And the number 28 and intuition. So, sometimes I don't know how to start these readings, but I guess I'll start it by saying, by spreading loving energy, I attract more love. Here we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. And so, when I think about the Queen of Swords, and I mean, she's in reverse right here. I mean, it's very oppositional to this intuition card. It's about the mind, it's about logic, thinking, all those sorts of things. And your message is saying that it is not about logic, it is not about thinking. It's none of that. For you guys, I'm getting this message of, here we have Maya, an illusion, right? And when we think about, the world that we live in, I mean, it's said to be an illusion, right? We don't perceive things. Like our intuition will guide us in ways that our logical mind won't. And the number 7, which is a very mystical, godly sort of number, here we have answering the call. Answering the call of your intuition, moving away from logic and reason and all those things like that, right? And I feel like that is where your power is really going to lie. But there's some blockages here. We have the wheels of light, which this is pretty much your chakra system, right? And it is in reverse, right? It's in reverse along with the Magician card, which has to do with your ability to manifest, your power action skill, power action. And there's power there written twice. And so this message is really that your intuition is going to guide you. And you have to answer the call of your intuition. However, here we see that, there's some blockages. There's some blockages here in your chakra system. Maybe that's something that you can look into. Because even here too, we have flow like water in reverse, right? And so when I think of water and the way that it moves, I'm moving this Queen of Swords further and further away, because flowing like water, like I'm getting a very instinctual thing, right? Like when I'm thinking of a starfish right now. Like starfish, I don't think they have brains. I think they just rely on sort of their intuition and they just move around instinctually. And I'm getting this feeling for you, to really work on your chakra system or to really look into it, and that there's going to be a lot of intuition and intuitive messages coming through to you during your sleeping hours, during the nighttime. You can see how her eyes are closed. You can see how there's I feel like a depth, you see it's like this, and then it's like there's a depth, like this is her on the outside, and then it's her inner self, and then her inner self, and then her inner self, and then there's the moon right here. So it's like you're going to be intuitively guided, answering the call. You're going to be intuitively guided in the nocturnal hours. Like I'm just getting this feeling of a cat that's up at night, or that rests and wakes up and then remembers their dreams. Or, well, I don't know if cats wake up and remember their dreams, but I'm talking about like people, right? When you wake up, you remember your dream, or when you're, in that peaceful state, just in that peaceful time when everyone's asleep, it's quiet outside, there's no distraction, you're not using your logical mind, or when you wake up first thing in the morning. Like when I here's an example. I love to do my tarot readings when I wake up at like 3 a.m. When I wake up first thing in the morning, because I feel like my mind is still in that mode of it's not like powered up, it's not on like 1,000 cups of coffee. Not that I drink coffee, but it's not caught up in this world, the illusions and the things that our minds want to fixate on, and I feel like your power really rests in your intuition, because we have the Magician in reverse. And it's really going to guide you through this world. It's going to guide you through this world. By spreading loving energy, I attract more love, tenderness, true love, compassion. And again, we have this giraffe, which to me is a symbol of, just based on its height, it's like the overview. Like imagine being a giraffe and being able to see things from a big picture perspective. Like our minds want to dissect things, our brains want to, now I'm thinking of science, right? Wanting to dissect things, wanting to separate things, wanting to dive in. And sometimes I feel like, even when doctors look at our bodies, right, they want to diagnose it's a problem with this part of our, I'm talking about Western medicine right here. It's like, it's not holistic, right? So when I think of the giraffe, I'm seeing like a holistic view, just sort of looking down. And I'm getting that with your intuition. And this is like a bigger call that's going to be coming through to you. Maybe this is your life path, your life purpose in this world, and it's not something that you can figure out intellectually, mentally, by doing a pros and cons list, and that's not to say that you're not going to have to deal with practical matters. You're obviously going to have to deal with practical matters, and that's where your brain kicks in of like, okay, how do I get this done, right? But we're talking about big picture stuff for you, the King of Cups, right? And here I'm looking at his watch. Oh my God, that's confirmation for me. I'm looking at his watch, and right then it's like, answer the call. It's time for you to answer the call of what your purpose is, what your life is supposed to be like, the overview, the giraffe's overview of what the big picture is supposed to be. And these messages are going to come through to you at night, okay? If you wake up in the middle of the night, whatever you do, just pay attention. Pay attention to what's coming through to you in your third eye. Just the thoughts that come to you, the feelings that come to you. And really, it's like quiet whispers. I'm seeing like a gentle, like I'm seeing and I'm hearing and I'm feeling like a creek. When you go to like a creek and it's very quiet and you can just hear the water and you can just hear that it's moving through the rocks. It's like that type of quietness. Like that's the whisper that you're going of the messages you're going to receive. And so if there's chakra work, if you're into that, if you're not familiar with it, I'm getting for a lot of you, starting with your root chakra. And to me, that's a symbol of the earth. Eesh. What does this mean? For some of you, you really need to do work on your root chakra. For some of you, it's your heart. I mean, all of them need to be in alignment in order for the energy to really flow through you very powerfully, right? For your power to be what it is, for you to be a master manifester. And it's just, I'm just being drawn to like the third eye. This is very spiritual message here. Yeah, it's a very spiritual message here. So whatever it is, I feel like this message, it was supposed to be about to bring ease to your minds. And I feel like for you guys, it's so that you can discover a newer sense of like receiving information regarding your life purpose, what you're meant to do, your next steps. Starting to look at the world differently, seeing how things are an illusion, how life isn't what it's perceived to be. You know how people say the only thing real is love? Like just real deepening. Like this King of Cups is a very spiritual leader. He's compassionate, loving. Like I see if I were to put like characters, like not characters, but real life people to say this is the King of Cups. Like it would be like, the Gandhis, like those types of people, who just had such a different perspective of what the world is compared to others, and that's where their power lies. And I feel like that's where your power lies. That's where your flow is, right? I'm going to start turning these around. And of course, the Queen of Swords is still over here. And, with the Queen of Swords, too, like, I'm getting this message right now of, the Queen of Swords, I'm getting her as, like, setting boundaries and timelines and things like that. So maybe there's a message here of having boundaries, sort of protecting yourself from some of these sort of worldly things, that can keep you in this energy of love, of tenderness, of compassion, because that's where your power lies. When you are at peace, when you are serene, that's when your intuition is strongest. That's when your third eye is able to perceive the messages more clearly. That's when your heart is open. That's where you feel grounded and stable. That's where your power lies. That's where you can be in flow with the direction that you're going to be moved into, and I see you at the end of, and I just got this near the end because we have the number 9. And here, I was talking about the giraffe and having this overview and this intuition. And like, it's similar to intuition in that it gives you the big picture without you actually seeing the big picture. And I see you ultimately kissing this giraffe or being so grateful for this gift that you have, or discovering your power or a skill set that is so different from what the world, or from how other people function in this world, and I just see you being so grateful for it, being so loving and so tender and so compassionate, and just spreading a lot of love, and in return being able to receive a lot of love, all because you've taken the time to really pay attention during these hours. It's these hours to really develop and open yourself up, your third eye, and your chakra system. So that's very important. So that is your reading. So if you like this reading, please give me a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. It's very helpful for me to know that there's people out there that are able to receive these messages, because sometimes I feel like I'm doing them and I don't know if I'm making sense. But I know it's someone out there is listening. And I hope it was definitely helpful for you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.